Dear finance professionals and students, welcome to podcast of FCA Deepak Rao, a practicing chartered accountant. Weekly digest for week 4 of July 2024. Amazon India has approached IPO bound Swiggy for a potential deal involving its quick commerce business under Instamart. The development comes close on the heels of Swiggy confidentially filing draft documents with SEBI for Rs 10,414 crore public offering, among the largest for a new age internet firm. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, who will present Union Budget for record 7th time, is scheduled to table the economic survey on July 22nd, Monday at 2:30 p.m. Prepared by the Economic Division of the Department of Economic Affairs in the Ministry of Finance and formulated under the supervision of the Chief Economic Advisor, the pre-budget document provides an insight into the state of the economy and various indicators of 2023-24 and some outlook for the current year. From initiating legal proceedings to creating Google alerts on the brand name to setting up fraud detection units internally and through common industry forums, fintech startups are having to adopt multiple measures to keep pace with fraudsters. Banks and large insurance companies have been fighting these cases against fraudsters for years. Now, even prominent fintech startups like Razorpay, Zerodha, Grow, Frio and Fisdom are having to deal with such issues at a major scale. To ease the compliance burden and simplify things, the MCA has merged Form IEPF 3 with Form IEPF 4 and Form IEPF 7 with IEPF 1 in MCA version 3. The revised forms will be made straight through process. Further, various amounts that need to be transferred to the IEPF authority as due on shares transferred by companies will be paid online via MCA 21 through the Pay Miscellaneous Fees service after selecting the option Investor Education and Protection Fund. Reliance Retail, the country's largest organized retailer, has added 30 Metro Cash and Carry outlets in the April to June quarter as the company rapidly expands the footprint of the organized wholesaler. Metro Cash and Carry, part of the grocery new commerce or B2B division, was acquired for 2,850 crore in December 2022 with 31 outlets in 21 cities. It now has over 200 stores in 180 cities, the company said in its latest investor presentation. Government has notified Prevention of Money Laundering Maintenance of Records Amendment Rules 2024. As per amended norms, the reporting entity must seek the KYC identifier or retrieve the KYC identifier from the Central KYC Records Registry for client identity verification or ongoing due diligence. Also, the client must only be required to submit KYC records or additional documents if the validity period of the downloaded documents has lapsed or the KYC information retrieved needs to be completed. In order to enable ESG rating providers or ERPs and credit rating agencies or CRAs to undertake rating activities in the International Financial Services Centers or IFSC, IFSCA has been added to the list of financial sector regulators at IFSC Gift City. Further, ratings undertaken by an ERP and a CRA under the guidelines of IFSCA must be under the purview of IFSCA. Further, any issue arising from the activities of SEBI-registered ERPs and CRAs in the IFSC must be dealt with by the IFSCA. The circular is applicable with immediate effect. India reached a historic milestone in defense exports, achieving $2.5 billion in the fiscal year 2023-24, a 25% increase from the previous year. This growth driven by efforts from both private and public sectors and strategic policy initiatives, places India among the top 25 arms exporters globally. Despite this success, India remains the world's largest arms importer, accounting for 9.8% of global imports. The country continues to focus on enhancing self-reliance in defense production. On Monday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman tabled the Economic Survey 2023-24 in Parliament, highlighting that the Indian economy has demonstrated resilience and stability despite geopolitical challenges. Global Capability Centers or GCCs have significantly boosted the country's services exports, with the other business services emerging as the second largest contributor to services exports in financial year 24, accounting for 26%, just behind IT services, which led with 48%. GCCs have now become vital to India's economic framework, contributing more than 1% to the country's GDP. India's finance minister has proposed a 35% reduction in the tax rate for foreign companies to attract more investment and boost foreign inflows. The move will benefit overseas companies looking to establish permanent branches and project offices for engineering, procurement, and construction contracts. The contentious equalization levy of 2% on digital companies, online education providing firms, and software as a service providers without a permanent physical presence in India will be abolished on August 1st. Designed to provide a level playing field for Indian e-commerce companies liable to local tax laws, the levy had grown to be a major point of contention between India and the US, with several affected entities based there. The government will introduce a production-linked incentive scheme for the toys and leather and footwear sectors with a total outlay of Rs 6,000 crore. Both schemes are set to run until 2031-32. The production-linked incentive for toys will have an outlay of Rs 3,489 crore, while the footwear and leather sector will receive Rs 2,600 crore. Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman proposes 8 new measures in support for promotion of MSMEs. These are as follows. Number 1. Credit Guarantee Scheme for MSME for making capital investment in the manufacturing sector with cover up to Rs 100 crore. Number 2. Public sector banks to develop new and independent assessment model for providing credit to MSME. Number 3. Credit support to MSMEs during stress period from a government-promoted fund. Number 4. Mudra loans enhanced for creditworthy entrepreneurs to Rs 20 lakh. Number 5. Half the turnover threshold for buyers for mandatory onboarding in TREDS. Number 6. 24 new SIDBI branches in MSME clusters proposed for easier and direct credit access. Number 7. New MSME units for food irradiation, quality and safety testing. And number 8. E-commerce export hubs for MSMEs and traditional artisans to ensure access to international markets. The Union Minister for Finance and Corporate Affairs, Nirmala Sitharaman, proposed to abolish angel tax for all classes of investors while presenting the Union Budget for 2024-25. She added that this move is aimed to bolster the Indian startup ecosystem, boost the entrepreneurial spirit, and support innovation. India could take steps to create a simpler regime for overseas investment by diluting the rigid distinction between foreign portfolio investment or FPI and foreign direct investment or FDI. Similarly, norms could be revisited to help Indian industrialists whose overseas investments are greater than those in the country to invest at home more easily. This proposed revamp will include changes to the Foreign Exchange Management Act. Currently, a single FPI is allowed to hold up to 10% of a company's stock. In case of FDI, investment up to 100% is allowed in most sectors. The recent customs duty cut in the budget has triggered a rush at jewelry stores as consumers buy gold in preparation for the wedding season. Prices fell sharply after customs duty cut announced in Budget 2024, sparking a 20% increase in demand. Jewelers have cancelled artisans' leave to keep up with the surge. Japan's population declined for the 15th consecutive year, dropping by over 500,000 due to low birth rates and an aging population. The government's measures to address this emphasize incentives for young couples but don't tackle the increasing reluctance to marry. Foreign residents now exceed 3 million, forming almost 3% of the population. The IFSCA has notified the IFSCA Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment and Settlement Systems Regulations 2024. These regulations cover definitions and norms related to the composition of the board, its duties, powers and functions, vacation of office, meetings of the board and quorum, constitution of subcommittees and advisory committees, and reporting to the authority. SEBI has notified the SEBI Alternative Investment Funds Third Amendment Regulations 2024. A new Chapter 3D with respect to Migrated Venture Capital Fund has been introduced. The provisions of this chapter shall apply only to migrated venture capital funds and schemes launched by such funds. Further, SEBI has prescribed the eligibility conditions and procedure for the grant of the certificate as a migrated venture capital fund. Also, the term migrated venture capital fund has been defined under the chapter. Chiefs of over half a dozen global consumer firms, including Coca-Cola, Unilever, Reckitt Benckiser, Mondelez, PepsiCo, Domino's, Levi's, and AO Smith have called out India as a standout or sustained investment opportunity market, especially for urban-centric discretionary or seasonal categories in their global April to June quarter earnings. Foxconn is evaluating plans to assemble Apple's flagship tablet iPad in India, marking a significant expansion of its current operations focused on making iPhones. The Taiwanese contract manufacturer may begin assembling iPads at its facility in Tamil Nadu Sriperumbudur in what will be a show of confidence in the rapidly expanding supply chain in India for Apple's iconic products. At a time when the Indian credit card industry is showing signs of slowdown after a period of unbridled growth, there is a renewed push towards distribution of secured credit cards or those backed by term deposits. While this product has always existed, it was not aggressively pushed by mainstream banks. Typically, business professionals, startup founders, and people without fixed salaries get these cards against fixed deposits they park with the bank. Indian corporates found raising funds through offshore syndicated loans more affordable in 2024 due to increased global investor interest. The volume remained stable at $13.3 billion. HSBC emerged as the top book runner, followed by DBS Group, Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group, and Taipei Fubon Commercial Bank. Firms like Union Bank, JSW Steel, and Hero FinCorp have utilized this route. SEBI has notified the SEBI Alternative Investment Funds Third Amendment Regulations 2024. A new Chapter 3D with respect to Migrated Venture Capital Fund has been introduced. The provisions of this chapter shall apply only to migrated venture capital funds and schemes launched by such funds. Further, SEBI has prescribed the eligibility conditions and procedure for the grant of the certificate as a migrated venture capital fund. Also, the term migrated venture capital fund has been defined under the chapter. Top technology companies including Accenture, IBM, and the Tata Group are among those hiring artificial intelligence specialists in the thousands as they integrate the Sunrise technology with their core functions, creating demand for a new category of workers termed as prompt engineers. The demand for AI prompt engineers has gone up by 300% on a year-on-year basis. This comes on the back of rapid adoption of generative AI technologies such as ChatGPT, DALL-E, and other large language models. India's manufacturing sector has seen a significant job growth over the past 2 years, surpassing the services sector. This turnaround is driven by government incentives, increased domestic demand, and companies expanding capacities. The sector is projected to create millions of jobs by 2024, contributing to the nation's goal of becoming a global manufacturing hub. The Aditya Birla Group launched its new jewelry retail brand, Indriya, directly competing with Tanishq and Reliance Jewels. Indriya plans to be a top 3 player in 5 years, leveraging India's shift towards branded jewelry. This Rs 5,000 crore initiative marks the group's entry during the festive season, aiming to capitalize on India's booming wedding market and rising preference for trusted brands. The government is planning to double the strength of National Company Law Tribunal with addition of more benches and members, as it aims to cut down the time the corporate insolvency resolution process takes to complete at present. The existing strength of NCLT benches is unable to cope with the volume of corporate insolvency resolution processes underway with the mandated time period of 330 days. A study conducted by SEBI has revealed that more than 70% of individual intraday traders in the equity cash segment have incurred losses in the financial year 2022-23. The study also noted a surge of over 300% in the number of individuals participating in intraday trading in the equity cash segment in financial year 22-23 compared to financial year 2018-19. This podcast is sponsored by Sound of CA. We share because we care. Vande Mataram, Jai Hind.